Alright, so in this session, we'll learn how verbs in German languages are written. Now, in English, usually the verb forms doesn't change, even if the subject changes. For example, I go, you go, they go, we go, except for the third person singular, that is, he goes, she goes, it goes. In German language, these endings are like very much different for each subjects that would use. That is, if I have to say I'm going, the ending would be completely different than we are going. So let's see what a German verb looks like first of all. In its infinitive form. The infinitive form is one which is not conjugated, which is the uh, default form of any verb, are called infinitive form. I'll write it down. Infinitive form. Now I'll write few examples for machen, M-A-C-H-E-N, machen, which means to do or to make, or kommen, to come, or trinken, to drink. Now, unlike German nouns, verbs are not supposed to be written in with first letter capital. You must write it with small letters only, unless the sentence begins with the very verb. Otherwise, it's fine. Now I'll conjugate each of this verb to show you how it changes. Before I conjugate, let me show you what are the pronouns or the subject forms that we use. Alright. The corresponding word for I in German is ich. Ich. For you informal, it's du. Du. For he, she, or it, that'll be er, sie, es. Er, sie, es. Corresponding for we is wir. Wir. For you could say plural form, we have ihr. For example, when teacher addresses all the students at once in the class, you could use ihr. Then you have you formal, right? Or the very formal form. Now this could be used as a singular as well as a plural form. It's sie, but this time it's with a capital S. Now take that in mind. If you write a small s, it could mean something else. Capital S, which is a formal U. Small s we have written earlier, that is she. But that isn't the only meaning that Z takes. Again, for the corresponding word they, it's again Z. Alright, but it's not that confusing. Once you'll start using it, it will be very clear. So before we start with the verbs, make sure you learn these corresponding words for each pronouns. Alright. So there is something called conjugation that we must keep in mind before using or while using such German verbs. Now what do you mean by conjugation? See, in English language, the verb form is usually same for example, now the go, to go is infinitive form. If I have to use that, I am going with the pronoun I, the subject I'll say going, I'm going. So the going never changes for any other subjects, like, oh, I'm going, she's going, they are going, we are going. Understood? So, same way, German, it takes changes. I'll show you that. So it's called verb conjugation, or in German Konjugation, you can say Konjugation, since you remember, right? J, which is yacht, pronounced as year. Alright, so whenever you write ich right? And the corresponding verb form, make sure you put the ending E. That's what the ending takes. Like ing in English, here it would be E. For do, st, ses, t, via en, ear, t, and zz, en. Well, this is the order we must learn everything, okay? When it comes to conjugation or verb endings, we also call them. Well, this must be the order, since in most dictionary this is how it is written. Alright, so take note of these endings. Now I'll show you how it works. Now let's say I have to conjugate the very first verb that I wrote, machen. You remember the meaning, right? Machen means to do or to make. Let's say I'm saying that I'm doing something, so I'll write ich mach. Now remember the ending? Yeah, now what you're supposed to do is you replace this en with e. That's it. All you need to do is replace that en and put the one that is shown above. So here it becomes, so machen, when you say I'm doing it or I'm doing, you should say ich mache. Ich mache. Right? If it's for do, that'll be du machst. Remember? You replace the ending en with st. So same way, what do you think for LZS it would be? For LZS, that would become macht. Correct? Wir machen. Ihr macht. And sie machen. Now go ahead, try with the second type of verb that I give you. Second verb, kommen. Try kommen. Kommen, which means to come. Right? Now I'm conjugating. When someone's ask you to conjugate if a particular verb, that means you write it in so and so form. Okay, all the forms. And the order must be in the same way. Ich, du, es, yes. Make sure you write it that way. That way it'll be a lot easier to learn. Ich komme. Du kommst. Er, sie, es kommt. Wir kommen. Er kommt. Sie kommen. Right? Alright, one more verb is there. I wrote it earlier. Trinken. Let's do trinken. Alright. So, trinken. Trinken means to drink. So, conjugating trinken. Ich trinke. Du trinkst. Er, sie, es trinken. Wir, my bad, it should be trinkt. Wir trinken. Ihr trinkt. And sie trinken. Alright. Thank you then.